If you could turn back time and whisper something to your younger self, what would you say? For many seniors, that question brings a pause. Not because there's just one regret, but because there's a lifetime of moments to choose from. A missed opportunity, a conversation left unsaid, a dream quietly tucked away in the back pocket of responsibility. As we age, we begin to see things with softer eyes. The urgency to prove ourselves fades, and in its place comes reflection, deep, honest reflection. Not with bitterness, not with shame, but with the kind of gentle wisdom that only comes from living a full life. In this video, we're not here to dwell on the past or to make you feel like you've done anything wrong. We're here to hold space for the truth, to speak aloud the quiet thoughts that so many older adults carry in their hearts, and to remind you that you're not alone. So let's begin. Let's gently explore the truths that live beneath the surface, the regrets that shape us, teach us, and sometimes still ask to be heard. When we're young, life moves so fast, we barely have time to look back. We're busy building careers, raising families, keeping up with the world around us. Regret feels like something far away, something that only visits other people. But as the years go by, something shifts. Time begins to slow. The noise quiets down. And in the stillness, reflection takes root. We start revisiting moments not to punish ourselves, but to understand them, to learn from them, to ask, did I live the way I truly wanted to? This isn't about dwelling in the past. It's about making peace with it. Because for many older adults, regret doesn't come from the big, dramatic choices. It comes from the small, everyday silences. The kindness left unspoken. The connection we didn't reach for. The courage we delayed until it was too late. But here's something we don't hear enough. Regret is not failure. It's proof that you care. It's a sign that your life has meaning, that the choices you made mattered, and most of all, it's an invitation. An invitation to reflect, to share, and maybe to inspire someone younger not to wait too long. So in this video, we're going to explore 5 common regrets many seniors quietly carry, not to dwell, but to discover the wisdom behind them. For many older adults, love was something you showed, not something you said. You fixed the car, you worked 2 jobs, you brought home groceries, paid the bills, and kept the house warm in the winter. That was how you said I love you. Walter, now 84, remembers it well. He was the strong, silent type, a good father by all accounts. He never missed a recital. He made sure his kids had shoes that fit, and he always checked the locks at night. But when it came to saying the words I love you, he hesitated. I thought they knew, he said quietly. I thought showing up was enough. And in many ways, it was. But now, with his children grown and living far away, Walter sometimes wonders if they truly knew how deeply he cared. He gave them everything except the words. For his generation, love was action. But over time, he's come to realize words matter too. Not because they replace the effort, but because they give it a voice. And sometimes, a voice is all someone needs to feel seen, held, and remembered. There are moments in life that slip past before we realize how precious they were. A phone call we didn't return, a hug we didn't give, a chance to say I'm proud of you that we assumed we'd have again. Rose, now 79, remembers her younger sister, Lillian, joyful, vibrant, full of life. They were close as children, but time, careers, and distance slowly pulled them apart. Rose always meant to call more, to visit, to say, you meant so much to me. But life kept getting in the way. And then, one day, Lillian was gone. No warning, no goodbye, What haunts Rose isn't what they said, it's what they didn't. The silence between them echoes louder now than any argument ever could. For many older adults, the deepest regrets aren't about decisions made, but words left unsaid. We think we'll have more time. We always do until we don't. That's why even the smallest expression of love matters. A note, a call, a smile. Because once the moment is gone, it becomes something we carry not in our hands, but in our hearts. Here's something worth remembering. It's not too late. Even if the moment has passed, even if years have gone by, even if you weren't someone who said, "I love you," before, you still can. Today, in your own way, Walter, the quiet father who once struggled with words, decided one day to write his son a letter. It wasn't long, just a few lines saying how proud he was. A week later, his son called him in tears. "Dad, this means more than you'll ever know." That's the thing about love. Even when it's late, it still arrives right on time. So if there's someone you've been thinking about, someone you care for, but haven't said it out loud, maybe today is the day. Because love doesn't expire, and neither does your chance to share it. For many in the older generation, life was a race, one you couldn't afford to slow down. There were mouths to feed, bills to pay, responsibilities to carry. Rest felt like a luxury. Fun was something you'd earn later. And so you kept moving. One day turned into the next. Weeks became years. And before you knew it, decades had gone by. Helen, now 79, spent most of her adult life working 6 days a week at a local diner. She was proud of her work, always dependable, always on her feet. But when she finally retired, she looked around her quiet home and realized something painful. She had no stories about vacations, no photos of birthday parties, no memories of lazy Sundays. I just kept telling myself, one day I'll rest, one day I'll enjoy things, she says. But that day never came. I was always too busy. It's a regret many share, not because work wasn't meaningful, but because it often came at the cost of living. There's a powerful instinct to provide, to make sure your family has what they need, even if it means putting yourself last. For many parents, especially fathers and mothers from older generations, love was measured in sacrifice, extra shifts, skipped meals, long commutes, all in the name of giving them a better life. Helen reflects on the nights she worked double shifts, missing her daughter's school play, or the weekends she promised to go to the park, only to fall asleep from exhaustion. I kept thinking I was doing the right thing, she says, and maybe I was, but I wish I had been more present. Security is important. No one doubts that. But presence, that's what makes people feel loved, remembered, and known. Children rarely remember how much money was in the bank, but they do remember who was in the audience, who listened, who laughed, who sat with them when they cried. And in the quiet years of later life, many older adults wish they'd found a better balance, not less love, but a different way of showing it, a way that said, "I see you, I'm here, and this moment matters." One of the quiet truths many older adults discover is, this life doesn't wait for the right moment. We often tell ourselves, "I'll rest after this busy season," or "I'll enjoy life once things calm down." But life rarely slows down, and that perfect someday we're waiting for, it has a habit of never arriving. Helen once thought retirement would be her time to finally enjoy life, to travel, to relax, to reconnect. But when that day came, her body was tired. Her closest friend had passed, and many of the things she once postponed were no longer possible. That realization was painful, but also freeing, because now she lives differently. She watches sunsets without needing a reason. She calls her daughter just to hear her voice. She bakes cookies on a Tuesday, simply because it brings her joy. Her lesson: don't save joy for later. Don't keep putting off the little things that make you feel alive. Because the truth is, life is not in the distance someday. It's in the coffee you drink this morning, the hug you give today, the way you laugh at something silly, even when no one else is around. Life is always now. And now is more than enough. Our bodies speak to us in whispers long before they scream. But many of us didn't listen. A twinge in the knee, a little shortness of breath after climbing stairs, a few pounds creeping up, small changes, easy to dismiss, easy to ignore. For decades, we told ourselves, it's nothing, I'll deal with it later. James, now 82, remembers the early signs clearly. Occasional chest tightness, slight dizziness in the mornings, fatigue that didn't match his activity. He shrugged them off: too busy, too proud, too confident. I thought I was fine, he says, until I wasn't. Those quiet signals are the body's way of asking for attention, for care, for respect. Ignoring them can lead to the things we regret most: serious illness, loss of independence, or even preventable hospital stays. Many older adults look back wishing they had paid more attention earlier. Not to live in fear, but to honor their body. To treat it as a partner, not a machine. A body well cared for can carry you through decades of life more fully, more confidently, more joyfully. And the good news, it's never too late to start listening. Every small adjustment, a walk, a stretch, a checkup can restore strength, confidence, and peace of mind. The body will respond to care even later in life, and those who choose to act often find that life feels richer, not shorter. It's easy to choose what's convenient over what's healthy, especially when life feels busy, tiring, or repetitive. Skipping meals, grabbing fast food, or relying on processed snacks. Avoiding the gym, the walk around the block, or stretching because tomorrow is another day. Susan, T-Shar, remembers decades of prioritizing convenience. It was easier to eat whatever was on hand. She says, he didn't cook, didn't move much, just thought I'd deal with it later. But later came in the form of low energy, occasional dizziness, and aches she never expected. Choosing convenience over health might feel harmless at the moment, but years later, it can become one of the deepest regrets, realizing that small daily habits shaped your vitality far more than big events ever could. The lesson isn't to punish yourself. It's to recognize that even small, mindful choices today can make a world of difference. Swap one processed snack for fresh fruit. Take a 10-minute walk. Stretch while watching TV. Drink water. These tiny actions, repeated consistently, build resilience, energy, and confidence. It's never too late to shift the balance toward health. Even small steps taken now can restore independence, improve quality of life, and create new moments of pride. A gentle reminder that your body deserves care, respect, and attention at any age. The hardest part about regret is realizing that small actions could have made a big difference and that it doesn't have to be too late. Even in your 70s or 80s, the body is remarkably resilient when treated with care. George Bosher once avoided exercise after a minor fall, thinking he was too fragile. A few weeks of guided, light-strength exercises later, he regained balance, confidence, and energy. He wished he had started sooner, he admitted, but he also realized that starting now was infinitely better than never starting at all. The lesson is clear. Every small choice matters. Ignoring your health today only multiplies regret tomorrow. But taking even the tiniest step toward care today can restore independence, energy, and peace of mind. Your body responds to love, attention, and respect, no matter your age. And in those daily moments of choice, you can build strength, resilience, and a sense of accomplishment that lasts far longer than any single indulgence or convenience ever could. So don't wait. Start today. Your future self will thank you. Fear has a persistent way of shaping choices, sometimes without us even noticing. Many older adults reflect back and realize they let fear decide for them. Fear of failing, fear of looking foolish, fear of being judged. And because of it, dreams stayed tucked away, experiences postponed, and voices unheard. Carol, Chishu, spent much of her life wanting to learn dance ballroom, salsa, even line dancing. But every class she considered, she hesitated. I thought I'd be too clumsy, too slow, too old, she recalls. I kept telling myself, I'll start next month. But next month never came. The regret is subtle, almost invisible yet powerful. It lingers in the moments we imagine ourselves stepping forward, and then stepping back. Those lost chances accumulate into a quiet ache, a reminder that life is meant to be lived, not feared. Fear of failure and judgment can stop us from discovering hidden joys, meeting new friends, or realizing untapped potential. And while caution has its place, letting fear dominate can lead to a life half-lived filled with what-ifs. Instead of I dids, the lesson courage doesn't mean absence of fear. It means acting in spite of it. Even a small step, attending one class, saying yes once, trying something new can break the pattern and remind us that life still holds opportunities at any age. Fear doesn't just stop us from trying it, quietly lets life's chances slip through our fingers. Carol remembers the dance workshops she never attended, the weekend trips she postponed, and the friends she could have made but didn't reach out to. Each missed opportunity left a small shadow, a subtle reminder that saying no out of fear has a cost. It's not always dramatic. Often, it's the accumulation of tiny maybes. The hobby you didn't start, the class you didn't sign up for, the conversation you avoided. Each one is a thread that, over the years, weaves into a blanket of regret. Many older adults share the same reflection. It wasn't the big, risky decisions they regretted most. It was the quiet moments they allowed to pass without action. The good news, opportunities still exist even later in life. It only takes one small choice to reclaim a sense of adventure. Attend that class, call that friend, take that short trip. Each action breaks the cycle of fear, showing that life still has room for joy, curiosity, and growth. Regret reminds us of what we value. Let it be a guide, not a cage. Life rewards courage. No matter when we choose to act, courage doesn't have to arrive in grand gestures. Often, it starts with a single, small step. For Carol, that first step was simply signing up for a beginner's dance class. She felt nervous, her hands trembled, and her heart raced. But once she crossed the threshold, she discovered a world she had been too afraid to explore. One step led to another. A smile exchanged with a fellow student, a new routine embraced, and eventually, a newfound confidence that rippled into other areas of her life. Older adults often realize that courage is cumulative. Each small decision to try something new chips away at fear. A short walk in the park, calling a friend you've been avoiding, learning a new skill. Each tiny step sends a message to your mind and body. I can do this. I am still capable. Regret doesn't have to define us. Instead, it can illuminate where we still have choices, where we can reclaim joy, connection, and growth. The lesson is simple. Start small. Start today. The path to courage is built one step at a time. And when you look back years from now, you'll see that it was the small steps, not the giant leaps, that changed your life the most. Friendship is one of life's quiet treasures, and sometimes we don't realize its value until it's fading. Fred Bashachi recalls a group of friends he met in his 40s. They shared laughter, holidays, and countless stories. Over the years, life pulled them in different directions. Moves, jobs, family responsibilities, each small shift created distance. Phone calls became less frequent, visits fewer and fewer, until one day, the connection felt almost lost. It wasn't dramatic, Fred says. It just slipped away. Many older adults look back and realize that the friendships they took for granted are the ones they regret losing most. Not because they weren't busy or didn't care, but because life's pace subtly, almost invisibly, allowed the bonds to loosen. The truth is simple. People remember presence, not perfection. They remember who laughed with them, who listened, who showed up without needing a reason. And when friendships drift away, the void can be quietly painful. A reminder that relationships need attention, even when life feels full. This regret teaches an important lesson: nurture your connections while you can. Reach out, send a message, make a call, invite someone over. Small gestures often matter more than grand reunions. Because even as years go by, genuine friendships can always be revived if we are willing to take the first step. Friendships thrive on attention. Even the smallest gestures matter. Evelyn Bashayi remembers how life got in the way. Calls were skipped, emails went unanswered, and casual invitations were postponed. I thought I'd have time later, she admits. But later came, and some of my friends had moved on, changed, or even passed away. Neglecting regular contact doesn't feel dramatic at first. A missed lunch here, a postponed phone call there. But over months and years, the absence accumulates. Those small connections that once brought laughter, support, and comfort slowly fade. Older adults often reflect on these losses with a quiet ache. Not because the friendships weren't strong, but because bonds, like plants, need regular care. Without attention, even the deepest connections can weaken. The lesson is clear: it's never too late to reach out. A simple phone call, a short note, or a quick visit can rekindle warmth. Regular contact doesn't require grand gestures, just consistent presence. Evelyn learned this the hard way. One afternoon, she called an old friend she hadn't spoken to in years. They laughed, reminisced, and planned a small get-together. That single call reminded her friendships are living things, and even late in life, they can bloom again when nourished with care. It's easy to assume there will always be another chance, another call, another visit, another opportunity to reconnect. But life often surprises us. Friends move away, become busy, or sometimes they leave us too soon. That's why the regret of lost connections can feel so sharp. Fred Bashachi realized this after months of letting old friendships fade. One morning, he decided to call a longtime friend he hadn't spoken to in years. The conversation was simple: a few laughs, shared memories, and a promise to meet for tea. That small act reignited a bond he thought was gone. Older adults often reflect that the simplest gestures, a phone call, a text, an invitation, carry immense weight. It's not the size of the gesture, but the intention behind it that matters. The truth is, it's never too late to reach out. Friendships are living things that thrive on attention, care, and shared moments. Each effort can rebuild warmth, laughter, and connection that seemed lost. So if there's someone you've been thinking about, an old friend, a cousin, a neighbor, don't wait. Pick up the phone, write a note, or invite them over. Every action taken today can prevent a lifetime of what-ifs and remind you that meaningful connections are always worth the effort. Regret can feel heavy, like a shadow that follows you through quiet evenings. But here's a comforting truth. It's never too late to heal. No matter how many opportunities were missed, how many words went unsaid, or how many fears held you back, there is always room for change, for growth, for joy, for reconnection. Life continues, and with it comes new moments, new choices, and new chances to make meaningful memories. Take a moment to breathe. Look at your life, not as a ledger of mistakes, but as a rich story filled with experiences, lessons, and resilience. Every smile you've shared, every effort you've made, and every act of love, large or small, has shaped your journey and the people around you. Healing starts with small steps. Reach out to a friend, try a new hobby, express gratitude or love to someone you care about. Move your body gently, eat a nourishing meal. These small actions, repeated consistently, become a bridge from regret to fulfillment. Remember, healing is not about erasing the past. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it to guide your choices today. It's about understanding that even late in life, you have the power to shape your days, nurture your body, mind, and heart, and build moments that bring peace and satisfaction. So, if you feel weighed down by regret, take heart. Your story isn't over. The chapters ahead can still be full of connection, joy, and self-discovery. Healing is possible, and it begins with one gentle, intentional step at a time. Regret is a teacher, not a judge. As we grow older, looking back often brings a mix of longing, sadness, and what-ifs, but each regret carries a lesson, a hint about what matters most in life. The key is to listen, reflect, and let it guide you rather than letting it weigh you down. Think about the moments that linger in your heart, the words you didn't speak, the experiences you postponed, the friendships you let drift. They aren't failures. They are signposts pointing to what you value: connection, love, courage, presence, and health. Reflection transforms regret into insight. It helps you see what you truly cherish, what you want more of in your life, and what choices can be made differently going forward. The beauty is that reflection doesn't require dramatic change. Small, intentional steps each day create lasting impact. It's never too late to act. Even simple gestures, calling a friend, sharing your feelings, walking a little more, trying something new, can turn regret into meaningful experience. Remember, life isn't measured solely by what has passed, but by the awareness, compassion, and intention we bring to each day. By turning regret into reflection, you reclaim agency over your story. You transform hindsight into foresight, pain into wisdom, and what could have been into what still can be. Your life, at any age, can be rich with connection, love, and purpose. If you let reflection guide your next step, we'd love to hear from you. What lessons have you learned in life that you wish you could share with younger generations? Or maybe a small action you've taken recently that brought joy or connection? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else today. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for more insights about senior life, reflection, and wisdom. Every like, comment, and share helps us continue bringing meaningful content to those navigating life's later chapters.